Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page, where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, 1970s MYRA Breckinridge. This is 1970s MYRA Breckinridge. This is the front of the DVD put out by 20th Century Fox. And here is the back of the DVD right here. This DVD right here of this amazing 1970 film, I actually picked this up probably about 12 years ago and have watched it many times since. I believe this is the only release of this film out there, but it has the theatrical version, the special edition, director commentary, actor commentary, some other special features. So this is quite an addition here for such an obscure, weird, unknown, known film. Let's get into 1970s MYRA Breckinridge. This is actually one of my favorite films, this is a film that has, as you can see in the front, Raquel Welch right there. It also has John Huston. It has Mae West, and it even stars the famous movie critic of the time, Mr. Rex Reed, in his first role, I believe. And I'm not exactly sure if it was his only role. I don't know about that, but I do know it was his first role, and he was not quote-unquote an actor. He was a movie critic, and such an interesting role for him in a movie about movies, in a way. MYRA Breckinridge, 1970, is actually based on a novel by Gore Vidal, and this is a film that clearly is ahead of its time. It's clearly way ahead of its time. Actually, I have not seen this film in about 5 years, and upon the viewing tonight in 2017, I realized how ahead of its time it actually is. MYRA Breckinridge tells the tale of a man or a woman trapped in a man's body, or a man trapped in a man's body, and a sex change, and homosexuality, and heterosexuality, and Hollywood, and actors and actresses, and old Hollywood, and gender roles, and what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman, liberation, sexual liberation, conservatives versus liberals, the change of cinema, perversion. And did I mention old Hollywood? This is 1970s MYRA Breckinridge. Yes, a film about some sexual issues, sex changes, transgender, all of these different elements and themes running through this film. Way, way, way ahead of its time. Not only in theme and not only in story, but also in cinematic vision, style, and the entire way this movie is filmed, made, and crazily mainstream released, with big actors and actresses in here. And I don't want to define actor or actress in any particular way, a la MYRA Breckinridge. Let's start off with the music for 1970s MYRA Breckinridge. The music in this film is really formulated for the most part off of old Hollywood films, movies, soundtracks from those movies. Some classical pieces. We also have like some famous classical pieces. We also have kind of some live theatrical stage production music sequences in the film as well, sung by Mae West herself, complete with elaborate theatrical choreography and dancers and all the like inside of a wildly sophisticated nightclub, filled with thematic sexual discussion. Now, the music in the film primarily, the backbone of the music, the foundation of the music in this film is from other older Hollywood movies. Now, that's going to be the link That's going to be the link. Yes, just think about that for a second. The old Hollywood films with Laurel and Hardy and Marilyn Monroe and other famous actors from bygones. And um, so you really, even the theme song for the film, the opening credits and the closing credits, is sung by a very popular little girl from old Hollywood. Um, Now, this connects directly to the cinematography, the editing, the style, the direction of 1970s Myra Breckinridge. This is a mainstream Hollywood film. How? It is so avant-garde, so experimental in its techniques, in its ways, in its sequences, in its story. Um, you can tell at the opening of this film that you are reading someone's handwritten letter and it's not even audibly narrated. You're just reading it as it's going down, an actual handwritten letter. We break the fourth wall in the film, where actors will speak right to the camera. We also have black and white, we have color, we have reflections that are distorted, we have reoccurring characters playing different roles. We also have unbelievable color schemes. We also have elements of Hollywood movies within this within this Hollywood movie. We have elements of very kind of timeless, out of sequence editing style, and editing styles that flip crazily to what an actor is saying. And we also, as if this were not enough, this film doesn't just have old Hollywood soundtrack movie music, it also has old Hollywood movie clips all throughout the film. Everything from explosions to Laurel and Hardy, as I stated, and these clips of obscure films and maybe some known films as well. The interesting thing is that these clips of Hollywood films in this movie, these old films, bring redefinition to these clips, but also to what we are seeing in the moments sandwiched around those clips in the Myra Breckinridge film. So they are complementing the Myra Breckinridge film. They are giving meaning to the Myra Breckinridge film, but also Myra Breckinridge is giving redefined meaning to some of these old Hollywood movie clips scattered throughout this film in a dazzling, like, unbelievable fashion that you just cannot believe what you're watching. Like, what is this movie? What is happening in this movie? And the interesting thing is that one of the themes in this film is cinema, is art, is the gods and goddesses of actors and actresses, and bringing in the new ones when the old ones die or go away. And you can see that in Mae West versus Raquel Welch in this film, and supposedly there was a great deal of tension between them actually behind the scenes of this movie. We also have Farrah Fawcett in this role, a very young Farrah Fawcett. And the interesting thing about this movie is that I promise you that you will never see somebody's somebody's own personal sexual tension done in a way like it's done in Myra Breckinridge, where you will see the male side and the female side of the character simultaneously played by two different actors, two different people, two different roles, and there is so much symbolism in the way that it's done, such as how would you show masturbation? Utilizing the male side and the female side of somebody, fantasy sequences, sexual fantasy sequences. There is an element in this film of some really cutting edge, edgy I believe the non-theatrical version was X-rated, um, but not X-rated in the way that you're thinking, like hardcore porn or anything like that. No, but just for the time and the tone and what's implied in Myra Breckinridge. Holy crap, it would be edgy today. It would be so edgy today. So, I mean, we have essentially a character who is destroying the male gender and destroying, in a way, the female gender in order to build it up again to what masculinity actually should be, to what femininity actually should be. And this is a film that uses politically incorrect terms nowadays, like fag and dyke. And you have a lot of references. This is a satire of a film, a satire of the modern times of 1970, of the switch to the sexuality, sexual liberation that was reflecting itself in everyday society with the young people, but also in movies with hardcore porn coming out, and also communism and elements of Hollywood in the movie industry, and the hilarity of it all. The hilarity of it all. Also, movie knowledge and the fascination of cinema and cinema dates and cinema facts, cinema knowledge. It's funny that we had a movie critic in this film, Rex Reed, kind of exemplifying that cinema knowledge. And sexually speaking, we have a rape in this film from woman to man, but also from man to man. And just imagine that, utilizing pictures of Burt Lancaster and Marilyn Monroe and old Hollywood movie clips in between that rape scene. The taking over, the bisexuality, and the way bisexuality can take over both genders, and in that way can take over the entire world. This is a film of comedy. This is a film of great satire. This is a film of experimentalism and avant-garde nature wrapped in a candy-coated Hollywood mainstream shell, with dance numbers and with quick, witty dialogue, quick, witty humor, and quick, witty satire. And it's all laced in quick, witty sexuality as well. That what is implied a lot in these scenes is quite explicit, but what is implied, spoken and done, is quite explicit. We do have male butt nudity. We have we have female breast nudity. We have a crazy hippie party with full body paint on the women, painted tuxedos. Crazy wild scene after scene. We do have a rape scene, as I mentioned before. Woman to man, man to man. So we have lesbianism and homosexuality done in implied but extremely edgy fashion. And the way this movie ends, what a twist, what a turn, what weirdness. All of a sudden it turns black and white. What is happening? Is it turning in on itself? 1970s Myra Breckinridge. Here it is, folks. I think it's still available on Amazon or eBay or anywhere else. What a unique Hollywood film that you might have never heard of before. Where is the Blu-ray for this? Love this movie. Somebody show it on 35mm. Thank you so much for watching the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page.